Hey guys, and welcome back to New Earth Alchemy. Because I know the name of my podcast, and our goal here is to make us better, so that we can make everybody else better, so that we can make the world better for our children and future generations, doing better than what was done for us. So today I want to talk about focus and how I think a lot of us have a tainted view of what we think focus should be and what we've been told focus should be and how focus should be, just in a lot of ways. But I have a lot of people come to me talking about how they have trouble focusing and how their biggest struggle is their lack of focus. And this is a lot to unpack because, for one, we can definitely talk about ways to improve our focus, okay? And we will. But first, I want to talk about how we probably have a bad idea of what focus actually is and what it actually means. For example, I've noticed a trend on the internet, at least, but also in real life as well, of people self-diagnosing themselves with ADHD because they don't have the focus the way they think they should have the focus to do the things, and particularly with like cleaning the house. And how we bounce around from one task to another in this room and that room. Like, we're picking up the living room, but now these items need to go into the bedroom, and now we're in the bedroom putting up these items, and now we're cleaning the bedroom because there's other items, and then these items have to go to the bathroom. So now we're in the bathroom and we're picking up other items, and that, I would not call that lack of focus or ADHD. I think that's just the natural progression of how cleaning works for most of us, because cleaning it's kind of a strategy game, just like football. I guess I know nothing about football, but I hear football's a strategy game. So essentially, honestly, how many of us have been taught strategies for cleaning? And if you don't have a strategy for cleaning, then yeah, it just looks like you're not focused and you're bouncing all over the place. Maybe you struggle with focus at work. That's most likely because you're bored and don't want to be there. That's not really a focus problem as much as it is a human problem. It's just a human nature thing. We don't want to do the things we don't want to do, so it's hard to focus on them. Maybe you're having trouble focusing on a single career. A lot of us fall into that category. Myself, for sure, I used to. I kind of still do, but not like I used to, because I've come to discover that a lot of those things, from the outside perspective, it looks like you're bouncing around from thing to thing. But from the inside perspective, if you just calm down with yourself and take the pressure off for a second and just analyze what you're doing, usually they overlap and they connect. So it's not really that you're bouncing around from thing to thing, as is you're creating connections with things that are connected, but to the outside point of view, a lot of people don't see how they're connected. So it looks all spacey. For example, a lot of content creators have trouble focusing on a niche or deciding what their niche is, because myself, for example, I had a really hard time for a long time because I started out with meditation and personal development, and then that turned into I was doing doula work for a while, and still am, but I quit for a while and then I picked it back up because to me it felt disconnected. To other people, it felt disconnected. And then for a while, I talked about food. And then I talked about gardening, entrepreneurship. And it was like, good God, Savannah, pick a direction. Just for here we are 9 years later, we finally come full circle. And I finally, hindsight's 2020. And things are a whole lot easier to see from a zoomed out point of view rather than zoomed in when you're living it moment by moment. But now I know that even though per our standards in society, it seemed like everything was disconnected, I was always talking about energy. I was always talking about alchemy and how to improve ourselves and how to improve each other and how to support one another and build communities and how we should be more in tune with the energies of the earth and nature and the universe and how we can utilize those energies. So sometimes we can't understand how things are playing out until they play out. We can't predict the ending until we read the whole story. Just like the Game of Thrones book, each chapter is it jumps around, horrendously hard to follow, okay? But in the end, it comes together and creates a whole, and you're like, oh, that's why we were over there talking about that, and that's why we were over there talking about that, and nothing made sense, but now it does. So if that's what you mean by trouble focusing, you really just need to probably cut yourself some slack and enjoy the process. And it's hard, I get it, especially in our society and culture when we're expected to have everything figured out by the time we start college at 18. But maybe college isn't even for you. Maybe your purpose, your path that you're supposed to be on doesn't exist and you have to create it. And sure, it can be super frustrating when you're in the process of it and you don't know which way to go and you don't know what to do and you feel like you'll follow your intuition and you're like, this is it, I just know it, I'm finally here. And then after like a year or two, it's like, wait a minute, crap, have I been on the wrong direction the whole time? And the answer is most likely not. Most likely you needed this understanding of this one area of expertise so that you could take that and apply it to this other area, this other industry in a way that it's never been done before. So now you've just revamped an industry that was already put into place in a whole new way. And that's unique and amazing and really special. We hear the word clarity. Oh my gosh, clarity is such a buzzword that people use. And it's really all hogwash. And have I done an episode on that? I may have already. If I'm not, I'm going to look and I will do an episode on clarity. But you're way better off instead of focusing on clarity, focusing on how you feel and are you having fun with it. Trying to find a focus, like as in clarity, that kind of focus, is stressful and counterproductive and a basis of society and culture, okay? You only feel like you need to have everything figured out because everybody acts like you need to have everything figured out by a certain time. What you should instead be focusing on. See, you probably don't have an issue focusing at all. You're just focusing on the wrong things, okay? Now we're going to talk about how to improve our focus now. Focus on the right things, okay? The things that matter. And how do you figure out what things matter? Because, Savannah, my career matters. Absolutely it does. But what matters more is probably your happiness, your health, your relationships. And the more you focus on your values and your priorities and the things that actually matter, the more all of that other stuff is going to fall into place. Nobody has an issue focusing on that which is aligned with them, that which brings them joy, that which brings them peace and happiness, fulfillment and purpose. So is it really that you have trouble focusing, or is it that you have trouble focusing on what people think you should be focusing on and what you believe you should be focusing on based on things you've heard, read, seen, experienced? So how do we improve our focus? For one, make sure we're focusing on the right things. And for two, cut ourselves some slack. The things that we're having trouble focusing on, are they probably things that we actually don't even want to be doing? Are they things that we're trying to force? Are we confusing focus with consistency? And we feel like we should be focusing consistently when nothing's actually consistent. Our energy levels day to day fluctuate. And just because we were able to focus for 3 hours straight yesterday doesn't mean that we're going to have the same capability today. And just because we can't doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with us or that we're doing anything wrong. It's just that we're a natural human being that is not meant to, sit at a desk for that much. I mean, even me, I've been doing this right here for 9 years. Some days I love it. Obviously, I wouldn't have stuck with it this long. I couldn't quit if I wanted to. Maybe I have wanted to a couple times, couldn't. But anyway, some days I can sit at my computer for 8 hours straight and like it flies by. I didn't even realize I was zoned in. I was in the zone. I was vibing. I was here. Let's do it. And just thriving. Those whole 8 hours, didn't miss a beat. Other days, I can't sit here for 10 minutes. I'm fidgety. I'm antsy. I'm restless. Can't do it. Gotta do other things. Maybe my brain is fried and it needs some downtime. Maybe I have too much energy and I need to go like play pickleball and burn it off. Do some physical work, go in my garden, get some sunlight. Maybe I've been stressed out lately or not sleeping well, and every time I sit down to focus, my body goes, oh man, can we rest now? Can we sleep? I need rest. I need to recover. So make sure you're not confusing focus issues with natural fluctuations in consistency. Other than that, it's really good to learn yourself and know when you do the best, when you focus the best. For example, I usually focus the best first thing in the morning. I don't focus very well midday because then I'm tired. And then sometimes I focus really well at night, but not always. So upon knowing that about myself, I can schedule in when I work. So when I need to do my focus work is in the mornings. And granted, not everybody has that luxury. You can't always formulate your schedule yourself and to meet your needs. But when you can't, you just have to know that you just got to cut yourself some slack and not beat yourself up for being human. So beyond all of those points, though, mental clarity, mental focus can really be hindered with physical unhealthiness, unwellness. So if you're holding a lot of toxins in your body, if your diet isn't great, or if your health isn't great, these things can greatly hinder focus abilities. Nobody ever wants to be told that they need to clean up their diet or clean up their personal self-care items like shampoo or lotions. But like these things have a ton of toxins in them that can make you really cloudy and make focusing that much more difficult. If you're not getting enough exercise, that can make you foggy and have trouble focusing. If you're not getting enough sleep, if your stress levels are high. Look, your body shuts everything down. If you're stressed out, your body shuts everything else down that it doesn't need to survive, because stress is your survival mechanism. And yes, it helps you focus in a lot of instances, like acute stress that comes on suddenly and doesn't last for very long, literally shuts everything out but mental clarity and focus a lot of times, and physical strength. It gives you that adrenaline boost so that you can pay attention and get out of the danger. But long-term stress, chronic stress, slowly deteriorates the body to where mental clarity is not a priority. And in all of that is why it's one of the reasons I believe nothing is more valuable for anything you're trying to improve, like navigating and managing your stress levels. You got to get that under control before anything else. If you have problems going on in your relationships or your financial security or anything that causes stress is going to have you distracted, which makes it that much more difficult to focus on something that isn't immediately pertaining to your issues. If you have a lot of chaos or clutter around you, overwhelm, this can cause you to shut down and be unable to focus very well. Like for me, it's hard for me to sit and focus at my desk on my work if my desk is a mess or if the room is a mess. If my kids are being chaotic, in which case it's really helpful and productive for your focus and clarity to create some space, whether that be in the form of cleaning or optimal alone time to recharge and regenerate, refresh so that you're able to get back at it. Perhaps the thing that you're trying to focus on is just uninspiring and unmotivating. It's hard to say. You really need to be more specific in telling me what you're struggling with rather than just straight out focus, because we can go a lot of directions in it. But to recap, it's pretty simple. Cut yourself some slack. You're only human and you're probably doing a great job. Perhaps you're beating yourself up for nothing. If the accusations are coming from an external source, they may be projecting. Check in with yourself and see how you feel about it. Are you indeed doing your best? And if you're still frustrated with it, try cleaning up your body. Making sure it's well hydrated, because dehydration plagues nearly all of us. You don't even realize, you don't even know. And it causes focus to be very difficult to hold on to. Make sure you're getting adequate movement. I've noticed that the more I move my body physically, like with pickleball or yoga, the easier time I have sitting and focusing. Maybe you need to clean up your environment. Maybe you need to create some space in your head with your thoughts, in your environment. Get plenty of rest. Fixing our problems usually isn't very difficult. It's just we would rather continue looking for answers rather than trying to implement the answers that may be right in front of us. Because that requires work. We just want a magic pill that makes it better. We don't want to drink more water or work out more. Not that those things are exactly what your particular problem is with focusing. I don't know. I can only throw noodles at the wall. You're the one that has to see if they stick or not. I can only give you an overview of what could be causing something and how we could go about fixing it and what might work for you. But ultimately, you're the one that has to figure out what works for you. You have to sit and think about it. You have to sit and analyze your thoughts, your belief systems. Your belief systems. But let me know what you think. Email me, send me a message. You can do that through the website, earthandwater.co. If I'm way over in left field and didn't even cover your type of focus that you were talking about, let me know. I'll do a whole nother episode. Please help me help you. Utilize me and my brain and all the books I read by giving me tasks to talk about, problems to solve for you. Well, not for you. I can't solve your problems for you. I can only give you directions to try and solve them yourself. Potential solutions. But anyway, this was a pretty quick episode. Let me know. Love you so much. Talk to you next week. Namaste. Good luck on your focusing problems.